Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm showing you how to make a beach house. This is part of my Biome house series. I'm not sure whether beach is a biome exactly, but I'm classing it as one anyway. You guys have been asking for one of these like crazy, and I've delivered. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please do drop the video a like, I'd really appreciate it. Comment down below, let me know what sort of other houses would you like me to make next, especially if you have a Biome house suggestion. You can do the same thing on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC 360. Also, check out the card system and the description below for all of my other biome related builds, plus some other stuff that I've been building as well. But without any further ado, let's talk about this beach house. So, if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You will need some polished andesite and some block of quartz. Grab birchwood planks and some quartz stairs. Grab quartz slabs. You'll also probably need some birchwood stairs and some birchwood slabs. Grab yourself some white stained glass block, and you'll also need some stone slabs. We'll probably need loads more things later on, but unfortunately these are the only things that we can carry now. So once you have each one of these, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm actually going to be making it right here. I would suggest making this thing on a beach, since this is a beach house, but you can obviously just build it wherever you want it. Prime real estate is over there, but unfortunately we just don't have the money to tear down that house, so we have to make ours a little further up. Well, once you've figured out where you want to make it, and I would recommend building it on a raised ground, by the way, because we're going to be starting with the back of the house. We'll build the entire back, and then we'll drag it forward and we'll connect it down to the ground, so it'll be on a hill. Well, once you've figured out where you want to make it, you're going to want to start off by placing a single andesite wherever you want to make it on the ground. We then want to go on top of this andesite by 3 with your birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3. Then place a block of quartz. Still going up, place 3 birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3. Then a block of quartz. Then going right of that block of quartz, you want to do a row of 7 quartz slabs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then do a block of quartz. Go right of that block of quartz by 6 with your quartz slabs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then place a block of quartz. You then want to go down from that quartz by 3 of your birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then a block of quartz. Go down by 3 of your birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, and we can just knock this block out, can't we? We can knock that block out. And 3. And you'll have found that you can connect down to the ground, or maybe you can't, but hopefully that connects down to the ground, and if it doesn't, use your andesite to connect down to the ground. What we can then do is we can take this top center quartz block, and we want to go down from it by 3 of the birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3. Then we want to place a block of quartz. We then want to go down by 3 of the birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3. And this time we don't connect down to the ground, so we just want to connect down to the ground with a polished andesite like that. Then what we want to do is we want to connect each one of these blocks of quartz that we have in the center. We want to connect them together with a row of block of quartz, and we just want to connect the blocks at the top like that. What we can then do is we can come to the left hand side of the build, and we want to take each one of these blocks of quartz that we have on the left hand side of the build, and we want to extend these forward towards where the front of the house is going to be, each by 7 with the quartz slabs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we want to place a block of quartz, and the upper one as well. We want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we want to place a block of quartz. We want to connect those quartzes together with birchwood planks, and then we want to go underneath this bottom quartz by 3 with the birchwood plank blocks. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then we want to connect that all the way down to the ground, and we have quite a drop here. We want to connect it down to the ground with our andesite, like that. We then want to do the same on the opposite side. So on the opposite side, each one of these quartzes, we extend it forward each by 7 with the quartz slabs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to do the same with the one above. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to place a block of quartz on each one of those ends. We want to connect those quartz blocks together with birchwood planks, and then we want to take the bottom quartz block and we want to go down by 3 with the birchwood planks. That'll be 1, 2, and 3. And then we want to connect that down to the ground with the andesite. Not so much of a drop on that right hand side, so we want to have something which should look like this. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now, on the front left hand corner of the house, which is this one, we can take each one of these quartz blocks and we can go right of them by 7 with the quartz slabs. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place the block of quartz and then connect that all the way over to the right hand side with the quartz slabs. Do that to the bottom and do it to the top. So the top we want to go right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then place the block of quartz, and then continue going right with the quartz slabs like this. You then want to connect those 2 quartz blocks together with a row of birch wood planks, and then you want to take that bottom quartz block, you want to go down by 3 of the birch wood planks, that's 1, 2, and 3. Then you want to place a polished andesite, and you want to connect it down to the ground like that. And that's perfect. Well, once you've got that taken care of, it's now time for us to build the foundation of this house. And to do that, we want to connect each one of those andesite blocks together. You know, the ones that are just 1 row below the birch wood planks, we want to connect all of these together with andesite. And if that means digging in to the actual ground here and removing some sand, then that's what you'll just have to do, because you do want to connect all of this together, and it just wants to end up with a rectangular shape like this. Then you can fill in the inside of this rectangular shape with whatever you want to fill the floor in with. I want andesite for the bottom of my house, but it might be that you want quartz, or it might be that you want glowstone, or pink wool, or whatever you might want. I like andesite for the bottom floor of this house, so that's what I'm using, but use whatever you like. The reason that we're filling the floor in now is because it's just going to make it easier in just a moment once we start messing about with the interior of the house a little bit. So we want to have the platform for the house. We then want to take out our birch wood planks, and we want to do this. So an easy way to think of this, can you see the front of the house, how it's split into 4 sections? Well, inside each one of these 4 sections, we want to have an archway shape. This archway shape wants to sit 1 row inside of each one of the 4 individual sections by 1 block. So on the left hand side, the right hand side, and the top, we want to have the amount of space inside this reduced by 1 row, and we want to be 1 row inwards. Does that make sense? We want to have the archway inside. And not only do we want to do this for the bottom left hand corner, but we want to do the same for the bottom right hand corner, top left, top right, all of them. So we're just going to add in all of these archways all the way around the front. Then we'll be doing the same thing on the side, and we'll also do the same thing on the back as well. Not necessarily in that order, we'll probably be doing the back after this, but it's a fairly difficult thing to explain, but I'm sure it's a very, very easy thing to see. So you want to have something which should look a little bit like that. That's the front. Do the same to the back. So on the back, really, all we want to do is we just want to limit the amount of space that we actually have for each one of these windows and doors and everything for the house. We're just limiting the amount of space. So I'm just adding all of these rows in like this, but you can fill them in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that matters is that you end up with the exact same result as you do the front, and we should have there. So as you can see, identical to the front, and that's exactly what we want. For the sides, it's the same thing, except on the sides we just have 2 rows. We have this row here, where we have the quartz slabs at the bottom, and we have this row here, where we have the quartz slabs at the top. And that's perfect, that's what we want to have. And of course, on the opposite side, we want to do the exact same thing. So on the opposite side, we just want to add this here, and we want to add that there, and that's perfect. And those are the walls of the house, pretty much done, or at least that's the base of them. The next thing on our agenda is going to be for us to completely fill in these walls. So we will start with the front of the house, as is customary. So for the front of the house, we're going to fill the left hand side in the same, and we'll fill the right hand side in the same. It'll look like this. So starting on the bottom and left hand side here, we want to, inside of these walls, we want to have a row of quartz that separates the center. So we want to have a separating row of quartz coming all the way up the center in this empty space. Then we want to have a left-hand row of white glass and a right-hand row of white glass that comes up the side and connects to that center point like that. Do the same up above, so we'll have the row of block of quartz coming all the way up here, and then we want to have the white stained glass block on the left and the right coming up the sides and connecting in the center to give us something which should look a little bit like that. That's the left hand side. The right hand side is a little bit different. So on the right hand side, we want to have 2 rows of glass. We want one on the left, one on the right, and then we want to connect them together with a row of block of quartz at the top, like that. That's the bottom right hand side, and the top right hand side looks the same thing. So we want white glass on the left, we want white glass on the right. We want a block of quartz all the way in between up at the top. And we'll have something which should look like that. And that is perfect, guys. That's exactly what we're after. Well, once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the back of the house. So the back of the house is ever so slightly different. So on the back of the house, inside each one of these spaces, we want to have a layer of block of quartz on the left and right hand side, inside of the space of course. And in between, we want to have glass. So you just want to fill in the area with glass. You want to do that on the left. And did I miss a block? I think I did though. No, I didn't. I thought I did though. Wait, no, I didn't. And you want to do the same thing on the right, despite the fact that the right, of course, there is a little bit more space to fill in. So do the same on the left, do the same on the right. It's just that the right looks a little bit different because, of course, there is a little bit more space. So let me just fill that in, and you'll end up with something that should look exactly like this. So once you've got that taken care of on the back, let's talk about the left and right. The left and right is very easy as well. All we want to do is we want to have a row of block of quartz that comes all the way up the middle of the left hand side and the right hand side of the house, and then we just want to fill the rest of it in with white stained glass block. Really easy, guys, nothing much to it. That's all we want to do. Very, very simple. Like that. That's the left hand side. Let's do the same to the right. So coming to the right here, we want to have the vertical row of block of quartz, and then we want to have white stained glass block filling all of the other area in. So just completely fill this in with white stained glass block, and we'll have something which looks quite nice. We'll have something which should look like that. Now, let's talk about the roof of this thing. The roof, we want to have a row of quartz slabs that is one row higher, well, half a row higher than the roof, and it goes all the way around the top of the outside of the roof, like this. Very, very simple. And what we're also going to be doing is we're going to fill in the top of the roof with glass. We'll fill the top of the roof in with glass, and then that's all we'll have to do. So we'll just have something. So that's the layer of quartz, and if you want, you can just add a virtual plank in here where we have that separation, and then you can just add white stained glass block here. If you want, you can also add various lights to the roof if you so choose. Like you could add yourself some, let's say, like you could add sea lanterns or glowstone if you wanted to like cut the house up the middle, or if you wanted to do something like that. Although I'm just going to leave it alone because the house should look very bright regardless. So that's what the roof looks like. Really easy. Once you've got the roof taken care of, we should probably start talking about some of the other things that this house has. So this house is a little bit more than just the actual house. It has an outdoor part, which is really cool looking. Let me show you. So coming to the front bottom left hand corner of the framework, we want to take out our polished andesite, and we want to take this corner block, this one right here that the house is supported on, and we want to come out in front of the house by 8 with the andesite. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Connect that down to the ground like this. Then you want to go right, and can you see where we have that other support in the house? You want to connect this supporting block here to the outer part of the house, and you want to connect that down to the ground like that. Then we want to take this block that we just connected to the ground and to the house. We want to continue going right until we reach the right hand side, and we want to take this right hand corner block, we want to drag it forward, and we want to connect it down too. So we'll have something which should look a little bit like that, and it's fairly easy, isn't it? Something else that we want to do is we want to take the front outward left hand corner of the framework, which is this, and we want to move left of it by 3 with the andesite. That's 1, 2, 3. We then want to place a block of quartz, then place, let's say, a birchwood stairs, although we'll change that later. Then another block of quartz. We then, behind this block of quartz, want to do a row of polished andesite that goes backwards, and it wants to connect to the back of the house. So if you have to delete any blocks in its way, delete them, but we want to have something which should look like this. And you also want to connect that block of quartz that you place on the corner, you want to connect that down to the ground with your andesite like that. Fantastic. What we can now do is this. So let's start filling in these areas, shall we, with the various materials that we need. So first of all, we want to add a row of andesite. Can you see, closest to the house, we want to fill in this row here with andesite, and going right, we want to fill in that row there. So in front of the house, we just want to fill in that row going from left to right. Then, for this first area in front of the left-hand part of the house, we want to do a square, or a rectangle rather, of quartz block here in front of the house, in here, and then we want to add a bottom to this, because this is going to be a pool. So we want to fill the bottom of this pool in with a block of quartz, and we're going to fill this in with water as well later on. So that'll be a pool. This right hand part is a bit different. We're going to completely fill in this right hand part with a block of quartz, and then we're going to add the balconies onto this house. So there's like a big balcony and there's a small balcony, so we just want to fill that in with quartz, that in with that. Let's talk about the balcony. It's quite easy. So Coming out of the front right-hand part of the house, we want to take each one of these quartz blocks. We want to extend these quartz blocks outwards, and we want to do it with rows of, we want to do 7. So from this block, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we want to place a block of quartz, and it should come down there. And what you can do is you can connect that block of the quartz down to the ground with birchwood planks. You then want to do the same thing coming out of this other front quartz block. We want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we want to place the block of quartz, and then we want to connect it down with the birchwood planks. We then want to connect the quartz blocks together with quartz slabs, and then we want to fill in the entire area here with stone slabs. So just fill in this area with stone slabs, like this. Just want to fill in the balcony area. It'll take a second or two. The balcony's quite big, really. And later on, we'll be adding glass around that. Next thing we want to do is, coming out of the front left-hand corner second floor of the house, we want to add a layer of quartz slab in front of the... Can you see where we have the window here? The window on the left, window on the right. We want to add a layer of quartz block that comes out in front of the window like this. That's what you want to have. Later on, we'll add some quartz. We'll add some white stained glass paint to that. Now, once you've got all of that taken care of, we can probably start getting to work on some of this stuff that we've talked about. So we'll get rid of all that. And the materials that we'll need some green stained clay, we'll need some lime stained clay. We'll also need a bit of water. Then grab yourself some quartz stairs and some quartz slabs. We'll need some birch fence, and we'll need some torches. We will also need some red wool and some white wool. We can't carry anything else at the moment. So first of all, we're going to take care of the garden. There's a garden on the left-hand side of this thing. And we want to have vertical rows of lime stained clay and green stained clay for the garden. So coming all the way up from the front of the house to the back of the house, we want to have a row of lime stained clay first of all next to this house. Then coming across, we want to have a layer of green stained clay, like this. Then lime, then green, then lime, the green, until you eventually completely fill in this garden. And what we're also going to place on this garden is we're going to place 2 deck chairs, well, 2 lounging chairs really, and we're going to place a parasol. So this parasol is going to be placed in the middle row of lime green stained clay, and it'll be placed somewhere near the back, about here-ish, where the house is. We'll go up by 2 with the birchwood fence, that's 1 and 2. We'll then place a red wool on top of this. We then want to extend this red wool outwards in each direction by 1, that's 1, 1, 1, and 1. We then want to have a layer of red going all the way around this. So add a layer of red going all the way around this. Then do a plus-shaped white layer of white wool on top of this. Then place a red wool right on top of the center block like this. Then, coming out in front of the parasol, either side of it, you want to have a quartz stairs like this, or maybe even like 1 row ahead of it if you like, and then you want to place a quartz slab coming out in front of that, and there you have like 2 lounging chairs. Now you can fill the pool in with water, so completely fill this pool in with water. Shouldn't be too hard for you, I'm sure. There we go. Then, this area underneath the balcony, we want to add, first of all, some chairs. So I'm going to add a layer of quartz stairs here on the right hand side, then a layer of quartz slabs here to represent a table, then I'm going to have a single birch fence in each one of the corners of this given area like this, and then I'm going to place a torch on top of each one of those birch wood fence like so. And we'll end up with something that should look a little bit like that, and that's fantastic. Well, what we now want to do is we want to grab ourselves some white stained glass block, or white stained glass paint I should say, and we want to grab, what colour can the table be? Your favourite colours for the table, I mean like dark oak wood stairs maybe, and maybe grab yourself some regular oak stairs, if you like, or grab whatever your 2 favourite colours are. First of all, we want to go around each one of the balconies with our white stained glass paint. So the left one, that's the left one, very easy to see what you have to do, and the right one we want to obviously go all the way around this as well. This will take a little bit more time because this balcony is a little bit bigger, but hey, what are you going to do? So we want to have something which should look like that. Then, what we want to have on the balcony, we want to have a little bit of a table. And we're going to have a dark oak wood table, very small table, very, very small. It's going to be like 2 opposite facing, or 2 together facing, dark oak wood stairs like this, in a square formation. And then we'll place oak wood stairs in a in this sort of formation around the table, so everyone can get around the table. If you like, you can also add potted plants and stuff around this, but I think that actually looks quite good. That's a nice little table to relax. And that is almost the outside complete. We have a couple more things to do. So we need to grab ourselves some sand, a little bit of quartz, and later on we'll also need some quartz stairs. So you might be able to see on the front left-hand corner of the property, we have a birchwood stair. I'm going to replace that with oak. And what we now have to do is we just have to add basically just like a little walkway down to the beach. And we don't want this walkway to be straightforward necessarily. We kind of want it to be like broken and jagged, and it doesn't want to be that easy to actually like get down to it. So I'm just going to build up this. We have to do a bit of landscaping. I'm just going to build up like this little area with sand here, and I'm just going to have like just a very, very small stair, very small path down, and it just looks a little something like that. So we'll have something like that, and then if we want, we can add some like block of quartz going randomly around this if we so choose. So maybe like here and maybe like here, for instance, and then we can add some sand around this as well. And in an ideal world, this beach would be a bit bigger, and we'd also have like sand behind these stairs and stuff, but it wants to look random. It doesn't want to look man-made, so we'll have something which should look a little bit like that maybe. That doesn't look too bad, does it? And behind this we will of course add ourselves some sand. So later on, this is something that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to do very much of it, is we want to eventually add a load of sand around the supports of this house. So that's a little walkway down to the beach, and imagine that the beach is actually a bit bigger. That's a bit of a better example. I'll show you that in a minute. Well, that's the walkway. One of the last things that we have to do now, and this is a frustrating part, and it's actually, unfortunately, it was easier to wait until now to do it. So, the beach house looks fine like this. It looks great. I love how it looks now, but it can look a little bit better. So, we'll come to the right-hand side of the house to show you the example of this. Can you see where the quartz slabs connect to the quartz blocks? If you want, you can replace those blocks with upside down quartz stairs like this. So you can see that it looks a little bit better, just a little bit better like that. So wherever a quartz block connects to a quartz slab, you can change it for an appropriately facing upside down quartz stairs. Now this is really difficult to place whilst you're actually building the foundation of the house, so that's why we didn't do it, but it's easy to change now that everything is in place. So I personally think that it looks really good like this. I like it quite a bit better. That's supposed to be a quartz, there we go. So it's up to you as to whether you want to go around and change it. There's not that many. There's about 8, I think, on any given side, so it doesn't take a long time to do. But if you're on survival, if you're building this on survival, God help you, then it might be a bit of a pain to do it. Honestly, it might be a bit of a pain. So it's up to you as whether you want to do it or not. I think it's worth it. It's up to you. I'm sorry that we had to wait until now, but we honestly did. If we would have tried to have built it, like this, then it would have just been a lot harder. It would have been way harder than simply using the slabs and building the foundation and doing it this way, which is why it's a very subtle change, but it is a change, and it does make it look just a little bit better than just your straight row. It does add a little bit of detail. You can see it, you might not even like it, but that's what I like. That's up to you whether you want to do it. So that is the house 100% fully complete, guys. Some other things that you may want to do, and I've actually done some on this previous house, is you may want to build up the area a little bit. So you may want to add some sand around the supports of the house. So you might just want to randomly add sand around the supports of the house like this. And I would suggest still having the supports visible where possible, but if you do want to completely like fill in the very bottom of this with your sand, I wouldn't blame you, because it would look a little bit better. Completely up to you, of course, but it's just my opinion. Why don't I show you the original version of this house so we can have a look at the inside and you can see a bit better the landscaping that goes around this. So I'll be back in a sec. So this is just a far better example of what the base of this house can look like. I haven't done it all the way around, I don't think, but we do have the sand and we can see the supports and we have the sand built up underneath it. I think it makes it look really, really cool, and obviously this is in like a grass world, but you can imagine what it looked like on the beach. It makes it just look a little bit better. Also, for the inside the house, why don't we have a look? So there's not that much room in the inside of the house, but I mean, there is room. I have found that a key to this house is to keep it well lit. The more lit up it looks, the better. In this front, bottom left-hand side of the house, we have a bit of a lounging area, because if you're at the beach, you're probably going to be lounging. The front, bottom right-hand corner of the house, we have a pretty cool looking kitchen. Right the way up the center of the house, to preserve space, so we haven't sectioned anything off, so everything flows freely, we have a staircase. It looks a little something like that. It starts right in the middle of the house. I'm sure that you guys would be able to replicate this if you want. On the second floor, once again, we just have a seat and we have a bit of a coffee table leading onto the balcony. We also have a bed, very simple bed. We have this bed with what appears to be two sirens on top of it, and this leads out onto the little, onto the balcony patio. And that's the house. It's very, very simple, very small on the inside really, but it's a biome house. It's not supposed to be massive. And hopefully you guys really like this. I love this beach house. You've been asking me for one forever, and I've came through, and I hope that you guys really do appreciate it. I hope you do love it. And if you do, please, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out. Comment down below. Let me know what kinds of other houses would you like me to build next, especially if they're biome related. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC360, you'll get much more likely to get a response there. Also, check out the god system, check out the description below for all of my other previous biome builds and some of my other builds as well. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope that you guys really did enjoy this. I'll see you in the next video.